I know you got athletes here now. You're seeing them. How do we handle them? Someone who dealing with that stress of playing sports, going to school. That's a lot. I mean, that's a task to be able to do, a student athlete and still come out with great grades. You know what I mean? And expect to be rewarded with a scholarship.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll speak from experience because my daughter was a student athlete, and she did wind up getting a full scholarship academically.
Okay.
So I would say managing time, right? Actually taking, because I like to say I'm old school, using planners. Remember back in the day in school, they would provide the planners for
right,
you.
yes.
Of course, they don't do that anymore.
Hey, we're back again with the Listen to Lo show, and you are listening to Lo. Sweet Fire Production, episode 11. And like I said, I'm going to say it again, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Make sure you listen low, because you never know what you might miss. Hey, our motivation quote of the day is step into growth. Step into growth. Don't be afraid to step out on faith. Your growth is impeccable, especially when you make sure that you give everything you got when you step out there. So step out into growth. Take your game to the next level. Once again, you're listening to Lo. And let me tell you something. I've been stepping out into growth a lot of time. I'm talking about from childhood all the way to high school, all the way to college, even to today, I'm stepping into growth. I can remember one of my bosses called me one day and say, I need you to go in there and do a PowerPoint. I need you to go in there and do an Excel sheet. I need you to go in there and do an Outlook. And I'm saying to myself, I never had to do it. I never had to do that for 16 years. For 16 years, I was an in-house sales trainer. Then I became a senior trainer. Then I became a director of training, right? For 16 years, I never had to do certain things. So I said I had a secretary. So why do I have to do all the extra stuff? They said, because now it's time for you to move to another level, for you to take your talents, your experience to the other side. I'm not talking about the sales side. You're going to go to the resort operations side. You're going to go talk to people that want to get to another level. I'm talking about people like security guards and housekeepers, front desk, concierge, bellman. And I'm saying to myself, why do I need to know how to do all that? He said, because you're not going to have a secretary. So you better go in and learn how to take advantage of different skills when it comes to communication. And that's what I did. I stepped out into growth. I sure did. I went to Outlook classes. I went to Excel classes. I even know how to do PowerPoints now. So I'm talking about, I mean, why? Why do that? Why even do it? Just give me a secretary. No. When you know it, it's better. The more you learn, the more you earn. And you know what? I have someone here today that learned a lot, and she's doing bigger things and doing a lot of great things. The more she do, the more she grow. And I'm happy to have her on the show today. Now, I have Miss Taureca Williams. I'm talking about FAMU Rattler graduate with a bachelor's degree. I'm talking about the University of Nova. I'm talking about master's degree. I'm talking about 21 years in education. I'm talking about award-winning author. Award-winning author. And even had the opportunity of doing some international things. But I'm going to let her tell you about that right there. Coming to our show right now, our guest speaker of the day, right now, award-winning author of the Addictive Patterns. Yes, you're going to learn a lot about it. Taureca, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, you know what? People think it's all, when I do a Listen Low show, they're like, oh, yeah, you know everybody. You got a good relationship with them. You better believe it. Yes. Now, we didn't just start talking last week on the phone because you seen the Listen Low show or, hey, let me find a show to go on, right? That's what it was all about there. We're talking about relationship. This Listen Low show is all about relationship from kids to parents, or from a parent to a coach, or from a player to a coach, or a trainer to a coach. Exactly. So all said and done, it don't matter how it ties together. Even just a husband and wife still have a great relationship. And we have a great relationship. Exactly. Go way, way, way back, right? Way
High
back.
School. College, yes,
Oh,
all
yeah.
the way back.
I love how you just said earlier when we was talking before we started the show. You're like, so how do I go about how you like, I'm gonna autograph your book. I'm like, yeah, autograph my book, right? And then you're like, what you want me to sign it? Lowood? Or tell them the other name you said.
La Smooth.
La Smooth. Y'all heard it right there, right? You heard it right there. La Smooth,
Yes.
Coach Lo, Hype Lo.
Yes.
I mean, it's so many different lows that I have encountered and meeting people all over the world. And it's interesting how you remember that because we didn't just start friends and then just lost touch.
Right.
You know, your career path, you know, thing that you were doing is related to what I'm doing.
Correct.
Right? We even talked about owning a daycare center.
Yep.
Right? I own a
Yep.
daycare center. You used to own a daycare
Yep.
center. And you talked about someone else running a daycare center. So I had the same experiences. Right? So when you have the same experience, that means, you know, you continue to have a great relationship.
Yes,
You
conversation.
Conversation. Exactly right. I mean, even from working with kids and you use education.
Yeah.
Right?
You train the body, I train the mind.
Oh man, the body and the mind. That goes good. I love that right there, right? I mean, it's wait a minute, is that called student athlete?
Yes, student athlete.
Exactly.
What we say, we don't want athlete, student athlete. is what we
right,
want.
right.
Yeah,
So somebody got to educate them and then someone train them.
correct.
Right? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
Right? But
how
you know
it goes hand in hand.
correct. I mean, I haven't seen too many athletes train before they go to school. They go to school and then they come train. Right? Like you said, train the mind, train the body. That's so amazing.
Because
So-
it control, if you think about it, sorry to cut you off,
No.
but if you think about it, you know, what you pour and put back into the mind, that controls the body. It controls those actions. You know what I mean? So what you put back, you got to remember, it controls the body.
Right? I totally agree.
Because
Right?
that deals with mental health.
That's right.
Right? If you continue to pour the negative into the mind, you know, those negative thoughts, anything negative, you going to get that manifestation of negative.
Right.
And we talk about what we listen to, those conversations that we have, the people we surround ourselves with.
Right.
If it's negative, what you think you're
Right.
going to get
Yeah,
out of it.
but we always say this: positive energy bring positive outcome.
Exactly.
Negative energy bring negative outcome.
Exactly.
Right. It's in. They did say misery love company too.
That's a good adage.
So I'm about to throw that in, add that in right there. But let's talk about Taureca Williams, right? And we'll get into more in depth about the mental side of our youth kids and just relationships and all. FAMU, right? HBCU.
Yes.
You chose to come out of high school, right? Evans High School.
Yes, Maynard Evans. You know, it was Maynard back then.
They changed it, right?
Yes.
Maynard Evans High School, graduated from there and went to FAMU.
Exactly.
What make you choose FAMU?
Well, for me, it was a tradition. It was a legacy, you know, passed down. My grandmother went to FAMU. My mother went to FAMU. My brother went to FAMU. And, you know, hey, I went on to continue the legacy, having family up there, because that's one of the things I, you know, added and put in my book, that I was from or born in Quincy, but I left there at the age of 3 and came here, and here you have it. Went to We Wonders Daycare, Hawassi Elementary,
right.
you know, on down the line. But just family tradition,
Right.
and we just continued on with it. So much so to my daughter, she said no, she didn't want to continue the legacy.
Right, she wanted to go somewhere else. Where she ended up going?
USF.
USF,
Yes.
graduated from USF.
She wanted a different demographic.
Right. But she did want the same journey, but a different way, but the same outcome was to graduate from college.
Yes, correct.
Right. So,
Yes.
but that's still part of the tradition itself. And we know nowadays tradition is not the same.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
you have mom, dad in the household. The tradition was there. Follow the tradition. Go to FAMU, a prestigious school. Prestigious school, right? Come out with a degree, a huge network.
Yes.
That's known nationwide. From there,
Exactly.
your journey there led you to then going into the education field.
Correct.
So you graduated from FAMU with your bachelor's in science.
Yes. BS, Bachelor of Science. Exactly.
Right. Bachelor of Science, yeah. But then you went to education. Why education? You know, You gave them 4 years at FAMU.
4 years, well, actually 5.
5 years at
Took a
FAMU.
little break, and that's okay.
Yeah, but it's okay. But 5 years at FAMU. I mean, if I'm going to FAMU, I'm coming out. I'm looking for the big time job. I'm finna go make just $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. But you said no. I'm going to go work in the Orange County system at Evans High School and get paid peanuts to educate our kids of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, thinking back, because I remember hearing in one of your shows how you basically put it out into the universe. You said what you were going to do when you was questioned in the interview. Yes. Right? And I remember as a little girl, that was something that I always said I wanted to be a teacher. So when we played, teacher and student, I never wanted to be the student. I was always the teacher. Right. And that's something I put out in the universe. That was something, that I witnessed, because like I said, my grandmother, she was a teacher. So me following in her footsteps and whatnot, that was why I chose, to be a teacher, wanting to give back, seeing the illumination on individual faces, those aha moments, that self-gratification. And the peanuts, we just make it work. And that's where, this entrepreneurship came about, being able to have more than one stream of income. Right. And my peanuts, it made me a better person, financially, business-wise, like all of that, because I just can't settle for the peanuts.
Right. Well, it said, I was reading your the bio, and it said, the hustle. Yeah. That's the hustle, but that hustle was there back then. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I think, if I was a teacher and I was in the school system, I would have the same mindset, because in order to help our youth, we got to have passion before the money. And that's why I'm always telling people, anything I do, put the passion for the money, and the money shall come. And here it is. Now you're an entrepreneur, right? You have your own, you have a daycare center. Yeah. So you're doing two things. That's another stream of income right there alone. But they say it's tough. That had to be tough for you. I mean, come on. You go to school all day. I'm dealing with somebody else's kid. I got 6 peers of class. That means I have an average in high school, 30 in the class?
25 to 30, right. Yep.
So if I say 30 and I got 6 peers, that's 180 different personalities. Yeah, exactly. Then I got to leave there and go to a daycare center and deal with another 30, 40 kids, and that 30, 40 parents, another 60 more different personalities. How do... I'm gonna come with this one. How do a strong Black woman handle that?
Well, I would say first, not bringing it home, right? Leaving work at work, and managing, because a lot of times I find, just in talking to various ones, where they bring work home. If somebody made them upset at work, they bring it home to their loved ones, and then it's like, well, hold up, I didn't make you mad. Like, why are you coming at me like that? Why are you upset? Right. So knowing how to manage the stresses, manage the drama, whatever it is, just dealing with it, at that time, putting it in its perspective. Right. So that's what helped me. And then just being mentally strong. It's like we keep going back to this mental, but talking to myself, having those positive affirmations, right? Like, I always, like, anybody has been to my house before, I like to say my house is print rich, because I have a lot of various things that's in various rooms on the walls that are positive affirmation as reminders, even when I get up in the morning, and just reading those on a day-to-day basis. And then because of my profession and me having to pour into others and praise them, it just became just natural, just a part of the education, the training. Right,
exactly. I know we tell a lot of time when I'm at work, I tell the team members, when you have problems at home and you get in your car to come to work, leave the problems in the car. Yeah. Or if I'm at work and I have problems at work, when I go home, leave the work problems in the car.
Exactly.
Because when you get in the car that morning, they're still going to be there waiting on you.
Yeah.
But at least they're waiting on it by yourself.
Yeah,
and
it's
not
up to
with
you.
the family. It's up to you. Right. It's
To
up
pick
to you.
it up and, and continue with it if you want.
But at least you're going to continue. If I got a work problem, I'm going to take it back to work. If I got a home problem, right, I'm not going to bring it to work. I'm bringing it back home, and then hope I can just
don't mix it.
Yeah. And then don't mix it, but fix it.
Right. I like that.
That's it. Right.
Don't mix it, but fix it.
But fix it. Right. Well, I tell you, I mean, it's talk about, the multi-stream income, being an independent, a strong woman, very successful education-wise, and everything you're doing. But let's move now to your thoughts to do something different. Take all the experience from education, life experiences, college experiences. But there's another experience we didn't talk about. Taureca Williams, the mother.
The mother. Yes.
Yeah. So that's part of that. Remember, your experience with that also, I read the book. So a lot of that ties in, So the mother, daughter in college, we talked about that. How you handle that? I mean, I want people to know who you are because that's tough.
Yeah.
School system, daycare, mother.
Yeah.
Come on.
So Taureca Williams, being the mother of a 19-year-old that will be completing her second year at USF in a week because they taking their final exams at this time. And because of me, one, being a mother, and then going to school and having to be a mother to the students in my classroom.
Right.
Like I tell them, I'm your mother away from home, that type thing. Because all of those various personalities that you spoke of earlier, some have mother and father at home. The majority don't have both parents in the home. Some have the mother, not the father. Some have the father, not the mother. So, me playing that role, but getting back to my child, one thing I always said myself is that I did not want to sacrifice my child mental for someone else's child. Right. Now, I know that sounds selfish, but in these times, you have to be selfish. Like I tell my women all the time when I speak to them, self-love, self-care, and selfish. Taking that time for yourself to do what's necessary to keep you and your mental, your psyche in check. Because guess what? If you not okay, guess who else ain't okay? The child.
That's right.
The offspring.
That's right.
Your husband, if that case.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we take care of the household, rather it's the partner there or not. Right. So again, if we're not okay, then our family isn't okay. So that was something I always told myself, is that I didn't want to sacrifice her psyche for someone else's. So again, going back to trying to prioritize and giving her time as, the child, and me being the mother, the caregiver of her, putting her first. And that's something I guess I would say I'm very passionate about, because a lot of time we be so engaged with what we're doing, right? Our job, it takes a lot of time from us, but then we get home and we neglect our own. And that's something that, I saw, not with my parents, but
other things. I understand.
That part.
Right.
But however, just stepping up, right? And not wanting to use whatever the circumstance is as an excuse. Right. Right? Correct. If you gotta be the mama, the daddy.
You gotta be the mama and the daddy.
Correct.
Right. They say it take two, but one strong can and then you can outsource the second if that's the case. Put the child in the in the atmosphere
or those different environments that they can get those voids,
correct,
sealed or whatever the
That's
case
right.
is. And then that goes back to you as the coach, because you're a male, you can speak on male things
Correct.
that I probably couldn't speak on because I'm not a male.
Right.
So just putting your kids in the environment, getting them around the right people.
We call that the village.
Exactly. It takes a village.
It takes a village, no matter how you look at it. And that's why I'm glad that the book, Addictive Patterns, because some people don't know they're going through different patterns.
Right.
Some people don't understand why I'm going in this way, why I'm going through this pattern. Some people don't know what pattern to go through, and some people just going.
Right.
So I want to get into it.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into the book, right?
Okay.
Let's get into the book.
So we'll say addictive patterns can be positive or negative.
Or negative.
And I like to always say, which one are you?
Right.
Which one is showing up more, being more prevalent in your life?
Right.
Right.
But why write the book? Like, why do you feel the need to write the book? You got a lot going on already. You got a lot you're doing. Like I said, you're a mother, you're an educator, you're an entrepreneur, you're a professional. Why write the book?
I got you. So, I wrote the book simply because of a personal experience that I was going through, right? A separation.
Okay.
And we talk about relationships, and all of what we've been talking about sitting here on this couch has been relationships.
Correct.
As you took it back, as a child, the relationship you have with your mother or your father, or we would say the lack of relationship you have with the mother and a father. Because just today, oh my gosh, in the classroom, I heard a couple of babies saying, a daddy? I don't know what that is. I don't have a daddy.
Wow.
And me just hearing that, and trying to offer some kind of comfort. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you can't really say if you've never experienced it. You can only offer, encouraging words. You can't say, I know what you mean.
Right.
I know where you going with this.
Right.
Right. But just trying to offer, again, some kind of comfort, to try and reel them back in and give some positive words, to them. But just going back because of the personal, the separation in the relationship, in the marriage, those kinds of things. And just knowing that I got to still stand in the paint because I have a child.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And the seed been planted, the seed has been planted as a child. As far as the education piece, as far as the athletic piece,
right.
The psyche, all of that. I have to continue with that. So what? Personally, it ain't going right for me, right? I gotta put myself together.
That's right.
Straighten up my
crown. They want you.
Correct, exactly, and that's key, because the babies. When I say babies, the children, they are watching you, your every move, how you decide to deal with the situation. Are you gonna go off on a tangent? Are you gonna try and get back? Are you gonna, because the big thing in the classrooms now, the vulgar language, not being able to express yourself without
the vulgar language.
Exactly.
But is that because they're hearing it at home?
They're hearing it at home. Some may say TV or whatever, but the way some of these babies can put together them words. Drop them F-bombs, them B words. Oh my gosh. And going back to the B word,
yes.
That does something to me, because like we always say, the men, right? They are the stronger vessels. We're the weaker vessels, right? And let me say this, the book, we're not going off male bashing. That's not what it's about, because if you've read the book, you'll see that I've praised the men, the ones that take care of their kids, are there for their kids regardless of you, or you and the mother, or you are together. You're still doing what you're supposed to do for the child, because that's what it's all about.
Well, I liked I experienced it, divorce and remarried, and I always said this, and it works. if both parties on the same page. You can have a fair marriage. You just can't have a fair divorce with kids involved.
Correct.
So if that divorce is successful in the right way, this is what you need, this is what we got, you're good, I'm happy, kids happy, we're together, 50-50, let's roll, or what the case might be, we can move. But that's not happening in a lot of relationships.
It's not.
And now the kids are the ones that's suffering.
They're suffering and we're seeing it in the classroom. They're telling the business, they're acting out the business. We're seeing those manifestations of the addictive patterns and what they are seeing going on. And that's just something, parents, I feel that we need to be mindful of. Our moves, how we go about dealing with situations. That's key. That's key, because life, we always say, it throws you lemons. So it's how you going to deal with it. I like to say all the time, your attitude isn't the problem. And hold on, the problem isn't the problem, but it's your attitude about the problem. And that's serious. How you going to deal with it, And a lot of times, because we talk about like the public school system, it being an institution, but then you have these jails out here, that being an institution as well. And again, because I'm in the high schools, I see it all. I have babies, they going to court, for various reasons, and some of it may just be not a bad kid, but they're acting out. They're trying to get attention, needing support, needing help, and that's one of the things as an addictive pattern, I say coach. I call myself a
right. No, you are.
As an addictive
we all are
pattern
coaches, mentors, trainers, some way, form, fashion. We are.
So as a coach, I talk about 3 coping strategies. One, acknowledging that there's a problem. And a lot of times we find that parents want to point the finger at the teachers. It's the teacher's fault. Oh, the teacher didn't do this, or the teacher didn't do that. But not looking at their household, looking at their environment, what they could have done that might have been a contributor of the reason why your child came to school and did this to this child, or maybe the teacher, because that's what we're seeing on the news now, students fighting teachers.
Right.
What the heck is going on?
Exactly. I like that. What's going on?
Yes, what is going on?
But the thing about it is that same teacher that same parent that blamed the teacher, I always ask this question: how many times you came and met the teacher?
Exactly.
Did you come to meet the teacher? Did you come to
conference night?
Conferences night? Did you come to PTA? Did you come to the guidance council? Did you meet with him about anything? But if that student is an athlete, but it was at that football game. So the priorities, right? So your pattern is off.
Yes.
You got, or did you even check when he left the house? How was he dressed? Was he presentable?
Yes.
Or did he go there with the pants on the hips, or what the case might be?
Yes.
These are things that parents are not even paying attention to until trouble starts.
Right. And sometimes we do know and realize that sometimes your job may not be suitable to where you're able to be there in the morning time when your child leaves, right?
Correct.
But I feel you should put things in place. Rather it's taking a picture, like, take a picture, send it to me, of what you wore to school today.
Whether they try to change clothes or not, when they get there,
right.
At least I got a good mindset that, okay, they did go to school, right? Hopefully they kept it that way.
Because that'll even help, like if something happened at school, first thing, if there was a police and they want you to give a report, you being able to tell them what your child had on that day.
Correct.
So just putting things in place. But going back to the coping strategy, first one, acknowledging that there's an issue or a problem. And then the second one, after you've acknowledged it, seeking support or seeking help, whatever that looks like, adult that you trust, a coach, a therapist, if it's more severe, you know what I mean? And an advisor, someone, seeking support. And then last, avoiding I would say avoiding those triggers, because we got to get to the root of why this is happening. And then if you need to separate yourself from this person or this situation, avoiding it.
Right.
You think about as a child or whatever the case, anytime you got around this particular person, you always got in trouble or
Right.
something. That would be a trigger. So you would need to avoid,
That person.
correct. Or talk less, maybe talk with them, but not hang out with them,
Correct, correct.
So various things like that. But those are my 3 coping strategies that I like to, share out when we've identified a problem.
I like the book also because people can find something they can read.
Yes. Yeah.
Read and go back. Because a lot of people is in denial that my kid do need help. Or I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know what to say. I just can't deal with it. I don't know the resources. I don't have the resources. I don't know how to find the resources. So what I do? Well, you know what? Here's the book.
Yeah.
Here's the book.
Yeah.
To read about it. People don't want to read as much unless it's something negative. But how can we in the school system help the parents? Actually, you talk about care force. Or this would be, we used to have this back in the day, charm school. They used to have different type of jam sessions.
Yes.
Where they teach you how to have a job, get a job, interview. There's so many things to have. I don't know if they're in there anymore.
Not they're not called that. It is not as many different resources as we had back then, because like we talk about home ec and stuff like
correct.
that, all of the basic fundamental things
Correct.
that you learned years ago. They don't have all of those in the schools today. And then that's why sometimes you have to go out, like outsource,
Correct.
These various nonprofit organizations that are honing in on the specific areas, teaching ladies how to be ladies and the men how to be gentlemen.
Right.
Because that, that plays a part, because you see a lot of time them just being rude and disrespectful, not knowing their pleasantries, the basic
Correct.
thing of please and thank you,
Right.
not using them.
Right.
So outsourcing,
Right. But outsourcing, we know they got to find it, but at home, everybody keep going back. Say it starts at home.
It does.
It starts at home.
It does.
But but at home have to find them resources. If they don't find the resources, now they're just gonna just do whatever they feel like they know.
Correct.
So when I wake up in the morning, when my kids in the house, they in college now, they gone, right?
Right.
We used to wake up in the morning, it was like, good morning.
Yes.
So, or before we leave, if I left to work and I didn't tell my daughter Maya, love you, have a great day, before I can make it out the house, she texts me. Or because she even got to bed and run out there now.
Right,
but she was
right.
like, you didn't give me no kiss. You didn't say you love me. And to this day right now, she's in college. If I call her right now, and I can put her on the phone right now, and I just talk, have a conversation. I say, all right, I'll talk to you later, bye. She'll instantly, you didn't say you love me.
Right.
She said, you do that sometime. I don't like it.
Okay.
Why she do that? Because we had a pattern
Yes.
of saying good morning, how you doing, saying goodbye, saying good night, pray together, eat together. And
It's vitally important.
but just the households.
They're not the same. I say the generations are missing some of those inner virtues, and it's sad. It's just not being passed down,
Correct.
from generation. And that again goes back to those addictive patterns. We want to pass them down to the next generation,
Correct.
but instead a lot of times we are passing down the negative versus the positive. We say kids are like sponges. They pick up on everything, So again, just being mindful, and as adults, just Because like I teach my child, you can say whatever it is you want to say, but just say it in a respectful manner.
Right.
I can receive it better. I can process it better, but don't come yelling at me.
Right.
Don't come. And that's what we're actually witnessing. These babies going off on their parents in these conferences. So imagine if they showing out in the schools what they doing in the household when ain't nobody looking.
Correct.
So it's sad. You know, like I like to say, again, putting yourself in those surrounding, you know, those people, participating in, for me, my population, right, sisterhood empowerment events. For you all, male type events, you know, y'all being on the field, because not only do you all coach them up, but you also have those conversations, you know, with them, pep talks, you know, but just surrounding yourself with empowering people, you know, and being in the building where they're uplifting and empowering people as a whole, mankind, as you would say. That's another thing, you know, just taking time out. Just again, back to the self-love, the self-care, doing what's necessary for you and your family. A lot of times, you know, we talk about people or kids being raised off survival versus love. Right. You know?
But it's interesting you say that, because I'm at church Sunday.
Okay.
And the pastor talking, we listen, and he brought up the 5 love languages. And I'm sitting there looking, and I'm thinking, you know, even me, I don't know everything now. Right. But when they said the 5 love languages, I'm thinking like maybe, okay, hug, kiss, say something nice.
But that's
touch. Right. No, so no, this is what we right, but it's more than that.
Okay.
It was more than that. I was like, whoa, it was, you know, the mental side came out. I'm like, but that got to do with love. You know what I mean? He was showing a whole different side of it. And so people thinking love is just I love you and saying I love you, or the touch, or the physical side. No one think about the mental side of love. You know, it's almost like when they get into verbal abuse. People think because they at football they come on, you can do it, and they cursing at them and get them. They think that's supposed to move them. Back in the days, that was fine because it was a different grind, a different mentality. Kids have been raised by internet now.
Yeah.
So they're not been. I mean, that's what it is. The society is more internet based. So now, when you start yelling at them, because remember, they don't talk to parents that much no more.
Right. Yeah, they've shut
they go
down.
When they go to dinner, it's everyone doing the phone.
Right.
When they're in the living room, what they doing? Same thing. So if you start coming at them hardcore, and it became abuse. You know, because it's all here. It's all here now. Because they're not getting the love at home.
Going in one ear and out the other.
Out the other ones.
Exactly.
So now that's the aggressive side of it from there. But how do we get our parents? We talked about addictive patterns. We looked in the book. We read the book is just really break down the patterns. How do we get parents to recognize the patterns that's going on with their kids?
Well, one, I would just say observing. Paying attention to your kids, their body language, the lack of, you know, or the excessiveness of something. I would just say paying attention, having those conversations. Again, those conversations can be difficult, but you know that they're necessary. You know that they're needed. And a lot of times we talk about not trying to be your child's friend. You know,
right. Go ahead. Go. Yes.
To where,
right.
They get to do what they want. You know, they tell you that type thing. But more so, taking care of the child, and sometimes you have to be the authoritarian. How we say the authoritative. I think that's what it is. Hey, showing authority.
Showing authority. There it is.
With your child, you know, telling them what's right, telling them what's wrong.
Right.
You know, it's necessary. But basically just paying attention and having those conversations. I remember talking before about something as simple as checking your child. I say doing well checks. And when I say well checks, because cutting is a thing. Cutting yourself is a thing. Now, and again, because we got different behaviors, different personalities, we see it all in the schools, in the institution, as you say.
Go to that. I mean, the cutting.
Cutting.
So, but
Needles
you said
or
well check. Let's elaborate on well check. And I'm hearing well check. You know, I don't think everyone grasping what you mean. And I know, but when you say well check, what's a well check?
Well check for the psyche, having those conversations. Well check for the physical. Yeah, actual. Because a lot of times our kids get away because the trend now is wearing these big and baggy clothes.
Right.
Even though it's 100 degrees outside.
They got a hoodie on.
Got a hoodie on.
Why you think that is? I'm curious on that part there. Why you think that they wear hoodies outside? No, I thought it was just athletes. My kids are all athletes, so I'm like, okay, got the hoodie, got the sweatsuit, you gone. But I'm starting to see when there's nothing going on, no sports, nothing going on, and they still wearing hoodies and it's 100 degree, but then they'll wear shorts and shirt when it's 50 degree. Why is it that? What are you recognizing that when in college, in high school?
Well, and this doesn't speak for everyone, but some of the things, they could be covering up something. And again, cuts on the arms where, you know, they thought about killing themselves or just bringing harm to themselves. So one of the reasons could be them just trying to cover up. How do you say, like a disguise for some. I don't really... I can't find the word exactly to...
Yeah, but I tell you one thing. I like what you said, too, the covering up. And... You know, and I think I experienced that with one of my kids, just hiding something. Nothing they did to harm themselves, but it's something that I didn't like. And I said, no, I don't think you're ready for that. It ain't time for that, whatever.
Right.
So they always wore certain things, and one thing I tell them, what's in the dark come in the light. So eventually they're gonna pop out, and then you're gonna hurt the person's feelings, or you're gonna create a problem. So just don't even do it, but we're talking to kids.
Right.
So
going back to the covering up, it could be, you know, multiple things, whether it's covering up a pregnancy, you know, because of the big clothing. Right. And I know people have shared out, that's when they started noticing, because all of a sudden their child wearing big baggy clothes. And that's not everybody, so I don't want anyone taking offense. Some, like I said, the cutting of themselves, some covering up tattoos or whatever, you know, things that they might have gotten and they didn't get permission for, or whatever the case is. Some just having that, the self-esteem not being there, right? Being self-conscious about the body. Yes, you know, the body shaming, those type things. So it's a plethora of things of why, you know, the kids might be wearing these big and baggy clothes. And, you know, I've heard conversations, you know. So again, just doing the well check, parents, on their psyche as well as their physical, and making sure everything is okay. You'll be surprised what they might actually tell you.
Exactly.
You know, and as parents, sometimes we may have to change up how we approach them.
Right.
You know, if we're always yelling, fussing, putting them down, you know, because I hear kids talk about that all the time. No, he or she not going to belittle me. I don't care if I am a child.
Wow.
My mama, my daddy not going to talk to me any kind of way, you know. And they have parents that are like that.
So I tell them, don't talk at them. Maybe just talk to them. And we want to talk at them, because we were taught at to a lot when we were coming up. Do this, do this, don't do this, and don't do that. But
the generation is different.
They don't have the thick skin.
Correct.
They think they do.
Yes.
But they really don't have the thick skin, because when all said and done, they realize, should have listened. man, if I listen, this would not have happened. And now it happened to him. And then guess who get the bad end of the stick? It'd be the parent. They the one got to bun you out of jail, go see you at the hospital, move you out your place because you didn't pay your bill, you did something crazy, or what a case may come pick you up late night because you got kicked out something. So it's crazy how the society changed now where the parents are struggling more now than ever.
Yes.
So I want to kind of tag team this because I'm in the sports, like you said, we talk about the mind and the body.
Yeah.
And I just want to kind of turn a little bit here. So with all this mental side of it, and parents may not be recognized what regular students are going through, I want to ask about us student athletes now. How the parents are dealing with even more stress because now I got to deal with them in school, then I got to deal with them in sports, trying to get scholarships, right? Because when I'm a student trying to get an academic scholarship, it's a different approach because people are already kind of expecting to pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 100% unless you cum laude or something, But, but over here in football, it's an opportunity again, in basketball and sport, for scholarships.
Right.
If your grades is right, everything is good. But now with how things are changing, even that is tough to do.
Yes.
I know you got athletes here now. You've seen them. How do we handle them? Someone who's dealing with that stress of playing sports, going to school, that's a lot. I mean, that's a task to be able to do, a student athlete and still come out with great grades, and expect to be rewarded with a scholarship.
Well, I'll speak from experience because my daughter was a student athlete and she did wind up getting a full scholarship academically.
Okay.
So I would say managing time, right? Actually taking, because I like to say I'm old school, using planners. Remember back in the day in school, they would provide the planners for you.
Yes.
Of course, they don't do that anymore, but I would get planners. And not even using the old school planners, these babies got these high price, high tech phones. Let's make them work. Correct. They got personal assistants on the phones. So utilize those actual devices and put your schedule down. Study hall, or I have a test, as putting reminders, study for test today, or study for test tomorrow. Putting your practice schedule on the phone, and whatever else you have going on once home, like utilizing those as planners and agendas so they can manage their schedule, manage their time better. Nothing catches them off guard.
Right.
They have it. Like, that's an actual thing. And not only that, they got their laptops. They have, the notepads, like the various digital things that they could use to help get them organized.
Right.
Because organization is key. That's an actual skill.
Right.
Everybody does not have organizational skills.
Right.
You think of something simple like that, but no, everybody don't have it. So I would say start there first. Getting your life in order.
Correct.
them rooms, them bedrooms.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like being in a bedroom that's organized or clean, you don't have clothes all on the floor. Something as small as that helps, how you feel about yourself.
Correct.
Like literally. So starting small, you would not know how it affects you mentally, how you feel better about things, how you feel better about yourself.
Right.
And then that allows you to carry it over in dealing with, the athleticism. Because coach, y'all gonna give them activities, drills, whatever the case is.
Right.
Homework, I call it, where you need to be staying
watching film,
drinking your water,
watching film, studying the other opponent.
Correct.
All that matter. And it's the thing about this too, especially from high school. This is just in high school, and we not asked that question because it's so challenging for them right now. Trying to balance both, or case might be, and then getting more stress. Now going to the camps, going to the tournaments, playing 7-on-7. I was talking to one of my friends, and he was like, I was like, hey, how's your son doing? And he was saying he's doing pretty good, but he kind of hurt his leg a little bit. I'm like, why? He say, what happened? He say, so much going on. We have to start thinking, that it's a lot going on. I mean, these athletes are doing 4 or 5 different things. I got to go to school, got to do school workout, right? So I got class, school workout, training, track, 707, camps. I did all that. So guess what? Now I'm dealing with the mental side of it. 'Cause I got to stay hydrated, flexible, get my proper rest. But then what if I go to sleep and I got to get up in 5 hours? Yeah. Oh, now I got to try to do it early. What if I got a 5 o'clock workout in the morning? So all that right there on these 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, it's a lot. And that mental side start wearing down. And now they want to give up. They want to quit. They don't have the drive. They don't have the support. I'm thankful that my friend got the support for his son, because he know what to do and what it takes to make sure his son gonna still make it through. And his son got that drive in him too. Someone got to have that. He have it, but the ones that's weaker don't have that drive in them.
Right.
So that mental starts setting in, and now if they do make it to college, they don't last.
Yeah. They
struggle even in college, because now in college for sport, when you wake up at 5 in the morning, you don't go back from doing what's done with sports and study hall and everything to 10, 11 at night.
Wow.
So that's you talk about structure, time management, plan. They got one for you. If you ain't used to it in high school, when you get to college, you're going to struggle. Now, mentally weak again.
So parents, it sounds like y'all got to help now before they go off and to college and have to do it on their own, because that's what it sounds like I'm hearing you say. Now you're independent. You got to stick to the schedule. You got to be to practice on time. They're not trying to hear no excuses.
Correct.
It is what it is.
Right.
So again, as parents, you got to get them organized, manage their time. Let them see you do it.
Right.
You're the role model.
Right.
Let them see how you're handling situations, how you're handling the stresses, how you're handling just chores. Your weekly things that you have to do for the family.
They say the kid a product of their environment. They see, they do what they see.
Exactly.
I mean, if they see you get up every morning and prepare breakfast and make sure everybody got food before you go to work, they're gonna like, okay, when they get to a situation, they know they how to do that. If they see you get up and go on to work every day, come back from work, and then you got a second job or second business, or you still doing it, they're gonna see it. If they see it, they know how they know. And I'm definitely a living testament of that my kids seen it all. They know that dad get them going to work, right? Mama or stepmom got them going to work. They see it, the hard work, the dedication to making sure that they had everything they need, physically, mentally, financially, and everything they need was right there in that household. Doesn't matter if it's 2 separate households.
No.
See, and that's what I mean by not having a divorce, because over here, when I go over here, everything is successful. I'm doing everything right. We're on the same page. When I come back, it's the same over here too. And you know what? And it can be anything is possible if you still work together.
Right. And y'all established a routine as well.
A pattern. That's that pattern again.
That pattern,
yes. Tarkin, when they read the book, what else they're going to get out of the book? I mean, they're going through the book. They got the intro. We got a strong intro, strong mindset. The body is so good. I mean, it get more interesting as it go. But once, of course, there's an ending.
Yeah.
When they get done reading the Addictive Patterns, what they're saying, what the objective, what's their objective when it's all said and done?
Well, in thinking about the book, taking us through the book, like you said, the intro, the body, et cetera, and then coming to the conclusion. In reading it, I would say that it might stir up some old memories, right? But it allows you to go through and self-reflect. Like my dad always would say, go within and introspect, right? To see if it be you. Are you guilty of these things? But it allows you to self-reflect and kind of journal. Answer those questions. Have you experienced this? Have you ever done this to someone? And as you're jotting down those thoughts, because remember, that was like a process of healing, processing my thoughts so I wouldn't have a outer body experience. So I wouldn't have a temper tantrum. So I wouldn't want to harm someone or myself for that reason, right? You know, a lot of times, like mentally strong, no, I'm gonna hurt you before I hurt myself,
yeah,
right? But all of those emotions, they are normal, right? To have those thoughts, but being able to cope with it, being able to have some type of therapeutic outlet, and again, answering those questions and then getting to the end of the book so that you can just, I like to say Musa, right? Letting you know that storms don't last forever. You know, just because you're going through maybe a hard or a rough time, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's a failed relationship, whether it's a lost job, whether it's a lost one, you know, because life throws all of those things at you.
Correct.
So again, just getting to the end and knowing that it's going to be okay.
Right.
Faith, believing, stepping out on faith. And something you said earlier in the beginning, I don't know if we would
step into growth.
Into growth. Right. Like that's important. Just knowing that it's going to be okay. Learning, you know, whether it's from another person, having that dialogue with someone that's going to pour back into you, and you not always being the one pouring back, you know, into someone but not getting it back, you know. So you empty, because you done gave it all and you don't have nobody to pour back into you. So again, just concluding, just knowing that everything is going to be okay and telling yourself, you know, rehearsing those things, and just having a positive outlook, a positive attitude about it, putting it in the universe what you want.
There it is.
Simple as that.
And there it is. Well, I tell you, I'm glad that we had an opportunity to come up on the show, the Listen to Lo show. Yes. Addictive Patterns by Taureca Williams. You see it right here. It's right here. I mean, so what's next for you? What's next? I'm going to just close up here. What's next for you? I mean, they got the book, right? I know we can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million, Walmart. It's on all of those major distribution channels. I even have an Etsy store, etsy.com, Addictive Patterns. So it's out there. Just Google Addictive Patterns and we're going to pop up. But as far as what's next, quite a few things. I'll say we have a creative writing workshop this summer, and we are actually looking to gift 100 kids. We have a GoFundMe up. It's a nonprofit called Kid Artistry, where we basically take the arts as well as the educational piece, and we, you know, combine them. But there's a GoFundMe under Kid Artistry Inc. And we're looking to basically give the students an opportunity to get the authorship experience. So what I went through, they get to experience that. You know, the writing, the editing, the publishing, that type thing. And then for some that may not want to be a writer, just working on your writing skills. Because again, we see it on a day-to-day. Some kids can write and express themselves. Some kids can't. They express themselves through text. And text language is different from the regular grammar, like, you know, that we learn in school. Exactly.
So that's one of the things we have going on. But just for any future, you can follow me on Instagram, Addictive Patterns. We just started this TikTok thing. I'm learning, y'all. But or the website, Addictive Patterns, for any future updates.
Well, I definitely thank you for coming on the show. And you heard it right there, live right there, award-winning author Taureca Williams, Addictive Pattern. You know you can find it at. Make sure you get it. We're talking about information that can help you and guide you and have a pattern, how to have a great relationship with your children, a strong relationship with your children, or even your kids have a strong relationship or have a pattern that they can follow to success. I call it the steps to success. And you heard it right there. Step out into growth. What I mean by that is read the book. Why not? Read the book. If you're not a person that like to read, know what? It's step out. Step out and grow. Read the book. Find a pattern. Find a relationship. We're talking about the well pattern. I love that right there. You never know what's going on. You never know how the kids are watching you. So this is the best way to do it. And you heard it today right here on Listen to Lo. It's the Listen Lo Show, episode 11. And remember, like us, follow us, share it. Camp King with a K, K for Kids, Camp King 12 on YouTube. And thank you, and we'll see you next time.